Welcome to Constructive Insights, Building Better Business in Construction. I'm your host, Mark Reynolds.
And I'm Sophia Chen, where we break down the business side of construction with practical insights you can actually use.
Quick disclaimer for our new listeners. Sophia and I are fictional characters created for this podcast. Any resemblance to real construction professionals is purely coincidental. Though if you happen to be a project manager with my level of experience and rugged charm, I'd like to meet you.
Ignore him. Today we're tackling a topic that might sound boring on the surface, but actually hits at the heart of profitability in construction: equipment maintenance.
Not just any take on maintenance, though. We're flipping the script on how you should think about it. It's not just an expense, folks. It's actually a growth lever.
That's right. And Mark, I know you've lived this firsthand. You've been on those job sites when equipment goes down at the worst possible moment.
Oh God, don't get me started. Picture this. It's 6:45 in the morning. Concrete trucks already lined up, ready to pour. Your phone rings, and you hear those dreaded words from your foreman. Hey, I've got a problem.
I can feel the stomach drop already.
The telehandler we need to lift materials has a hydraulic leak. It's down. And just like that, you're watching money burn while your crew stands around waiting. And that concrete starts to set in those trucks.
What's shocking is how common this scenario is. Did you know only 8.5% of construction projects finish on time and within budget? And equipment downtime is one of the biggest culprits.
And here's where most companies get it wrong. They chalk it up to bad luck instead of bad planning. But in today's market, with margins getting squeezed from every direction, we can't afford to think that way anymore.
And numbers tell us something pretty eye-opening. According to Aberdeen Research, downtime costs around $260,000 per hour across industries. But in construction, it's not just about the repair costs.
Not even close. It's the domino effect that kills you. I remember a mid-rise build in Houston where a failed compact excavator halted work across 3 trades. Instead of moving to concrete, framing, and plumbing, every team sat idle.
What was the damage?
$12,000 in lost productivity in a single day. Plus a client relationship that went from solid to shaky in about 4 hours. And that's just one piece of equipment on one day.
So the real takeaway here is that more uptime means more jobs you can confidently commit to. Maintenance isn't just fixing breakdowns. It's creating capacity for growth.
Exactly. And let's not forget about safety, which is directly tied to maintenance. When you neglect maintenance, you're not just risking timelines. You're putting your workers at risk and potentially facing compliance issues.
I've seen companies face OSHA violations, accidents, and skyrocketing insurance premiums, all stemming from maintenance issues that could have been prevented.
I once saw a project manager swap in an uninspected lift just to keep the job moving. You know what happened? The crew hesitated to use it. They didn't feel safe. That created 4 hours of delay and a ton of tension on site.
And this is happening at a time when we're facing an unprecedented shortage of skilled technicians who understand both mechanical systems and the digital diagnostics in modern equipment.
Which means there's less margin for error than ever before. We've established that equipment downtime is a hidden growth killer. Now let's talk about the flip side. How preventive maintenance creates predictable margins.
This is where the math gets really interesting. When you treat maintenance as a reaction, your margins are on a roller coaster. But when you make it routine, you build predictability into your costs and capacity.
Let me break it down with a simple example. Replace a hydraulic hose during a scheduled inspection, it costs you about $100. Wait until that same hose breaks down mid-job. Now you're looking at $5,000, plus overtime and potential damage to other systems.
The U.S. Department of Energy found that predictive maintenance can save 30 to 40% compared to reactive maintenance. Even compared to basic preventive maintenance, you're still saving 8 to 12%.
And here's what I've seen firsthand. Planned maintenance always costs less money, takes less time, and gives your team more breathing room. When your bottom line isn't constantly disrupted by surprise breakdowns, you can actually plan your growth.
I saw a fascinating comment on Reddit from a maintenance manager who implemented predictive maintenance. They said their company went from firefighting mode to actually being able to forecast their equipment needs 6 months in advance. It completely changed their bidding strategy.
That's the kind of stability that lets you sleep at night as a project manager. But let's talk about another angle: how smarter maintenance improves asset lifespan and ROI.
This is huge. Recent studies suggest that preventive maintenance can extend asset lifespan by 20 to 40%. Think about what that means for your fleet.
It means you're not buying new equipment as often. You're depending less on rentals, and each piece of equipment is giving you a better return on investment. It's like getting an extra year or two of performance without spending a dime on new purchases.
I know of a fast-growing construction company that set up usage-based service reminders in their equipment management system. Instead of just scheduling by calendar dates, they triggered alerts after every 250 hours of use.
Let me guess, fewer breakdowns?
Exactly. They kept 3 machines running 18 months longer than expected. When you're talking about heavy equipment that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's significant savings.
I want to share a real example that brings all this together. AX Construction in Malta was juggling more than 50 active project sites and thousands of tools and heavy equipment. But they were relying on spreadsheets, which meant low visibility, missed maintenance, and costly downtime.
What changed for them?
They implemented a centralized system that gave them real-time visibility across 2,000 assets. They set up automated service schedules with reminders sent straight to stakeholders' devices. Overdue maintenance dropped significantly.
And the results?
Higher uptime, improved safety compliance, and more predictable project delivery. They actually started aiming for zero equipment downtime, which sounds impossible in construction. But they're getting closer.
What's fascinating is how many teams are still held back from this kind of maintenance maturity. They're using paper logs, scattered spreadsheets, with no shared visibility across job sites.
And the impact is that maintenance remains invisible until something breaks. A supervisor has no idea a piece of equipment is on the verge of failure until it's too late.
So how do we shift the mindset from seeing maintenance as a cost center to recognizing it as a growth driver?
First, you have to track downtime costs per equipment and project. Make those numbers visible to everyone. When the CFO sees that a breakdown cost $12,000 in lost productivity, suddenly maintenance budget conversations change.
Second, make service logs visible to finance and operations leaders. When they can see the correlation between maintenance and project success, it changes how resources get allocated.
Third, and this is critical, align your preventive maintenance with job schedules. Don't pull equipment off a job for routine maintenance. Do it during natural breaks or between projects.
And finally, automate as much as possible. Set up alerts and inspections based on actual usage, not just calendar dates. This isn't about cutting maintenance costs. It's about scaling operations intelligently.
When maintenance becomes a shared, visible priority, you improve operational maturity. And that positions your company to grow without the chaos that comes with constant repairs.
As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. Maintenance is not an isolated workflow. It impacts your project timelines, safety budgets, and company reputation.
With equipment becoming more sophisticated, fleet costs skyrocketing, and competition tightening, the construction companies that treat maintenance as a growth lever will be the ones expanding into new territories.
While others are still struggling to keep up. I love this quote from the article we referenced. In construction, growth isn't about doing more. It's about breaking less.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Next episode, we'll be diving into supply chain resilience in construction, another critical topic for anyone looking to maintain competitive edge in today's market.
Until then, keep building smarter. This has been Constructive Insights. I'm Sophia Chen.
And I'm Mark Reynolds. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next pour.